Yeah, brother, I get it. Look, the mob fascinates people. The most ironic thing about everything I did with my crime talk, and I hit it hard for about 3 years, right? Just talking about what went on with my life and my case and everything. And really, what my book's about and what my crime talk really is about is the evolution of the American mafia, right? Like how today they're much more into financial crimes than they are into drugs and violence, because drugs and violence are a ticket to a long sentence, which is a ticket to snitches and everything else. And I grew up effectively with Tommy and Tony Gambino. Both our fathers were imprisoned at Terminal Island in Los Angeles, and that's obviously how we hooked up. And I talk about Pump and Dump. My brother and Tommy did together on Penthouse magazine, right? Like they floated it like old school Pump and Dump style, and they got away with it completely. Partly because I was protecting them both on the drug case that I caught, and I stayed silent protecting them. You think they gave me a nickel of the Pump and Dump? Nah, that's not how human nature works. So, I think a lot of people get into crime because of two real bad things. Like they think they're really, really tough, and they also think they're very loyal, and there's a loyalty in that life. And one thing I can tell you about that life is there is no loyalty whatsoever in that life. It is definitely every man for themselves, So, I don't find glorifying it worthwhile, because there's nothing to glorify, right? And that was one of the things I talked about fight game wise, like Rocky Balboa. I loved the way they made him a low-level enforcer for a loan shark, and they didn't glorify mob life. Like the loan shark was a dirtball scumbag, and Rocky was a slave to him, right? Like, and they were, beaten up. And when Rocky tried to exert his own morality into something, the loan shark yelled at him like, "Hey, Rock, don't do any thinking. I'll do the thinking for you." And that whole life, whether you're talking about financial crime or whether you're talking about drug crime or whether you're talking about violent crime, it all goes together, right? There's somebody who's orchestrating it and using you. That is the very definition of what organized crime is. Now, the greatest part about financial organized crime, in a drug case, you get busted, guess what? Everybody turns against you. They're all rats, right? Everybody in the drug case, because they don't want to do life and they want to get out and blah, blah, blah. But in a financial crime, they all go, "We were committing crimes." So, like, instead of them becoming your adversaries, they're like your advocates. They're like, no, it wasn't illegal. So it's constantly these guys tricking other people who don't know as much about the world as them to do their bidding. And that's what the modern mafia is. I mean, that's what I grew up in. And yeah, check it out, listener. Maybe you'll love it. And everybody, like and subscribe for more on the fight game. I'm done doing the mafia stuff.